Picture this. Someone joins a high-ticket real estate program. 10, 15, 20, $50,000. They've been circling the industry for about 2 years, consuming content, watching deals happen for other people, telling themselves they just need the right push. And on the sales call, when they finally say yes, the thing that tips them over the edge isn't the curriculum. It's not the strategy. It's not even the mentor. It's this word: accountability. We're going to hold you accountable. You'll have a community around you. People watching, checking in, making sure you do the work. And they think, that's it. That's what I've been missing. But 6 months later, they've attended every call. They've posted in the group. They've gotten encouragement from the coach. They've been celebrated for taking action. And they still haven't closed a deal. So what happened? Accountability is one of the most powerful words in the seminar business. Not because it always works, because it always sounds like it works. It sounds mature. It sounds disciplined. It sounds like the kind of thing serious people need. And sometimes it is useful. But in the seminar world, accountability is also one of the easiest things to make feel powerful, without it actually producing much. That's what I want to break down today. 7 reasons why accountability gets overvalued in these programs, and what to actually look for instead. The first reason accountability feels so powerful is because it creates the feeling of structure. And a lot of people come into this world with good intentions and no real operating rhythm. No consistent process, no defined metrics, no clear sequence, no scorecard. Just motivation that comes and goes. So the moment they enter the group with weekly calls, check-in threads, action posts, and prompts, it feels like the structure has arrived. It feels like, okay, now I'm in something. Now there are people watching. Now I have a reason to move. And that feeling is real, and that feeling is not the same thing as the system. A weekly check-in is not automatically a process. A group call is not automatically a standard. A prompt that says, "What are your goals this week?" is not automatically accountability. That's the first trap. People feel more organized the moment they enter the accountability environment, without ever proving the environment is improving what they actually do. The feeling of structure and the presence of structure are 2 different things, and most programs are very good at delivering the feeling. The second reason accountability gets overvalued is because being watched feels like becoming disciplined. Now this one runs deep. The moment someone knows they may have to report back to a coach, a group, a moderator, they often feel more serious. Observation creates pressure. Pressure creates movement. Movement feels productive. But here's the problem. External pressure isn't the same as internal standards. And a system that only works when someone is watching will almost always collapse the moment the attention disappears. That's why some good people look incredibly engaged in the group. They sound fully motivated on the calls. They say all the right things in the chat, and still don't build anything that lasts, because they're not becoming more disciplined. They're becoming more performative. They've learned how to look committed inside the environment. That isn't the same as becoming effective in the actual business. The discipline that builds something isn't the discipline of showing up to a call. It's the discipline of making 10 offers on a Tuesday when no one is watching and nothing is exciting. If accountability is making you better at the first kind of discipline but not the second, you're getting the theater version. Now, the third reason accountability often fails is because it measures activity more easily than effectiveness. This happens constantly, and it's almost never called out. It's easy to ask, did you make the calls? Did you attend the session? Did you post your goals? Did you show up? Did you take action? Those are easy to count. They show up in the group. They fill the threads, they make the metrics look healthy. But real business questions are much, much harder. Was the outreach pointed at the right people? Were the offers structured well? Was the deal criteria actually strong? Was the follow-up effective? Did the action improve your judgment? Did you learn anything repeatable? Those questions require someone to sit with you and think. They require uncomfortable diagnosis. So, weaker accountability systems default to visible effort, and visible effort can hide a lot of the bad process. A person can be completely accountable to the wrong actions, very consistent in low-quality behavior, totally committed to a process that's vague, shallow, or strategically off. That's why accountability by itself is never the answer. It only helps if the actions being reinforced are actually the right ones. Consistency in the wrong direction isn't progress. It's just a faster way to get nowhere. Now, the fourth reason accountability feels powerful is because it reduces guilt. And this one, people don't talk about enough. A lot of people come into this world carrying a specific kind of weight. They know they've been sitting on the sidelines. They know they've been consuming more than executing. They know they've been making excuses. They know they've been vague. So, when they join a program with real accountability, with calls, check-ins, community, some of that guilt gets quieter. Why? Because now they're inside something. They're attending, they're posting, they're participating. And participation temporarily soothes the discomfort of not having real traction. That's where the overvaluation starts. The person feels better before they're doing better. And if they don't understand the difference, they can confuse emotional relief with actual momentum. And that's extremely dangerous. Because a system that primarily makes you feel less guilty about your inaction can keep you stuck for a very long time, while still feeling like it's helping. You can stay in a community for 2 years, feel supported the entire time, and look back with nothing to show for it. The guilt was quieter, but the results were the same. The fifth reason seminar accountability falls short is because it almost never asks the right question. Most programs do this. They ask, "Did you do the thing?" Strong systems ask, "Why are you not doing the thing?" That distinction matters more than almost anything. Because if someone is stuck, more check-ins don't automatically solve the actual problem. Sometimes they need clarity. Sometimes they need better criteria. Sometimes they need to narrow the focus. Sometimes they need better feedback on a specific skill. Sometimes they need to stop doing 5 things and finally repeat one thing well. The issue is rarely effort. It's rarely motivation. It's almost always precision. They don't know exactly what to do, or they know what to do, but they're doing it the wrong time, the wrong sequence, on the wrong leads. So a coach asking, "How are you doing this week?" doesn't fix that. A group post doesn't fix that. A check-in doesn't fix that. What fixes that is someone with enough context to say, "You're doing the wrong rep. Here's why. Here's what the right rep looks like." That kind of accountability is rare. It's also expensive to deliver at scale, which is why you see so many programs offer the check-in version, because it's easier to package and to sell. The sixth reason accountability gets so overvalued is because communities tend to reward saying the right things. You've seen this. Someone announces a big week, they post their goals, they say they're going all in, they say this is their moment, and the group responds. It responds with encouragement, responds with support, with fire emojis, responds with "let's go." That's real energy. It also completely untethered from the outcome. Because the market doesn't care about your announcement. It doesn't reward the declaration. It rewards repetition, judgment, and actual results. But in a lot of communities, the emotional reward for talking about action becomes strong enough that people start living off the announcement itself. They feel momentum before they've earned momentum. And once a system starts feeding people emotionally for saying the right things, It becomes very easy to feel like you're progressing without proving that you are. That isn't a criticism of community. Community can be valuable. The question is whether yours is reinforcing the behavior that builds the business, or just reinforcing the behavior that makes everyone feel good in the moment. Those are not the same community. But a seventh reason real accountability is rare is because it requires a level of precision that most programs don't want to operate at. Real accountability sounds like this. Why this market? Why this lead source? Why this deal standard? Why are you still doing that if it hasn't worked in 6 weeks? What exactly are you measuring? What skill are you building first? What are you saying no to? What would make this week a real win? What evidence would you tell your current approach is wrong? That's useful, but it's also uncomfortable. Because it forces precision, it removes hiding places, it exposes vagueness. It reveals whether someone is actually building something or just staying emotionally involved in the idea of building something. And that's exactly why most programs don't go there. Service accountability is easier to scale. It keeps people engaged. It keeps them showing up. It keeps them posting. It keeps them feeling like they're in motion. But deeper accountability would force a level of clarity that gets uncomfortable fast for the student and for the business running the program. Now, if you've been watching this channel for a while, you already know what's coming. Okay, but you're selling something too, so why should I trust you? And that's fair, but here's the difference. The goal isn't an accountability group. It's not a community where you post your weekly goals and get fire emojis. It's not a program that sells you on being held to a standard it can't actually operationalize. It's a resource. It's a library. You use it when you have a specific question and you need a real answer. It doesn't tell you it'll change your life. It tells you how deals work, how the offers are structured, and what actually matters, so you can elevate everything else with a clearer head. The Seminar Survival Guide is free. There's a link in the description. Start there. And if you want the vault, it's there when you're ready. No urgency, no upsell, no limited time offer, just the information. So, how do you actually evaluate accountability? Well, here's the filter. Ask whether the system is producing better behavior or just more visible behavior. Ask whether it's improving your standards or just increasing your participation. Ask whether it's making more precise, more focused, and more effective, or is it just more publicly committed? Because the goal isn't to reject accountability. Real accountability can absolutely help, but the best coaches in any field run on it. The goal is to stop assuming that every program using that word is actually delivering it. A real accountability system should do more than just make you show up. It should make you sharper. Sharper in what you measure, sharper in what you repeat, sharper in what you stop, sharper in how you make decisions, sharper in how you know when something isn't working. And if it's not doing that, then what you may really be paying for is pressure without diagnosis, engagement without precision, participation without traction. So the next time someone says, what you need is accountability, pause and ask, accountability to what exactly? To a calendar? To a group? To a coach checking the box? To visible activity? Or to the right actions, the right sequence, and the right standards? That one question clears up a lot. And if you want to understand more about how the seminar business works on you, watch the video on screen right now. It's about why success stories in these programs feel so real, and how belief gets manufactured from the front of the room. Once you see that, a lot of these accountability systems start making a lot more sense. The link's on the screen, and the Seminar Survival Guide is free in the description. Start there.